Hello and welcome to Brokeronomics. Now let's come back to the tariff thing because basically nobody has talked about anything else. And yesterday we got the announcement that there's going to be a 90-day pause. As you recall, I predicted that was very likely going to be something that happened. The furore around this has been joyful to behold. I've been watching some of the reactions to it and chuckling heartily to myself. So let's first of all let's establish what actually happened yesterday. But it won't be yesterday, by this goes out on Tuesday. I'm recording this on Thursday beforehand. Unfortunately, our editors, insist on having time to do button things. But anyway, so what happened yesterday is Trump put a 90-day pause on most of the tariffs. Except for those guys who retaliated, and China in particular, he stuck up to 125% tariff because they tried to retaliate the hardest. And everybody else gets a 10% tariff. And the reaction that I'm seeing is wonderful because basically everybody who went against this is trying to say that Trump cucked and he's U-turned and he's run away from these stuff. No, he didn't. He's got 10% across the board as a minimum. Significant tariffs on China, which is, our analysis here is that was always the focus. And he's also flushed out all of the people who are not aligning with his vision for the world, those who retaliated. And we have to see the details on what tariff they get. I'm not sure if they get the 10% for the 90 days or whether they get higher. I suspect they're going to get higher on this. So first of all, some points on the negotiation. You have to appreciate that we live in a world where there is an anti-Trump reeing machine. And that reeing machine has a certain amount of reeing that is going to do on any particular subject. So let's pick an example. Let's say that Trump came out and he said, I like the kitten. No, I can't do the voice. But let's say he came out and said, look, I like the kittens, but I prefer the puppies more, or something. Whatever. And if that was the only news story for the week, then all week there would be that amount. The fixed amount of reeing is what you would hear on that subject, and people going absolutely berserk about that. Likewise, bring it back to tariffs. If Trump had come out a week ago and said, "Look, I'm going to put 125% on tariff on China, and I'm going to put 10% on everybody else," the amount of reeing we've seen over the last week would be the same amount because there is a fixed amount of reeing to go around. And what he's actually done is he started off with an outrageous claim, which was sort of high tariffs across the board everywhere. I mean, a few people got the 10%, like here in Britain we got the 10%. And it would have been the same amount. Whereas actually he came up with that large amount, and then he pulled it back to a more sustainable position. And the bond market is a factor in that, and we go into it. Now the rest of the world is thinking, "Oh, fantastic! We dodged a bullet there. That was brilliant. We got a superb outcome." So basically, he got to. Actually, originally the market thought the smart money. I mean, this wasn't discussed so much, but the analysts were largely thinking it's probably going to be about 10%, and it was 10% in the end, apart from China, which he's trying to isolate. Again, we come back to that. So he basically got there, but now everybody thinks that they won. Whereas if he'd started there, everybody would be fighting him on the 10%, whereas now they're congratulating themselves that they won. So he gets everything that he wants, and there are additional benefits as well. I mean, people are now having to come to him. People are reacting to him. There is actually a lot of winning here, and I'm going to get into why it is all winning. Also, a quick note, why am I coming away with a different perspective to so many other commentators? In fact, I'm basically pretty much the only commentator who, well, actually, that's not fair. In our sphere, I'm pretty much the only commentator who's been saying this. All of the global macro guys are pretty much with me on this. The people who really understand global macro, but they don't tend to move in our spheres. They tend to move in their own global macro spheres. I kind of tag on to that spheres when I see what they're talking about. So we all get it. The difference is is the global macro guys, such as myself and all the rest of them, is we don't judge stuff by the headlines. If you have been in the position of the last week of trying to interpret everything through whatever the headline is, well, I mean, garbage in, garbage out, basically. No wonder you've been getting this wrong, because you've been, you're being presented with charts that have been clipped to give a very narrow time frame that support the argument whoever clipped the chart. Whereas when I look at this stuff, I look at the chart and then I zoom in and I zoom out, and it's like, okay, well, what's actually going on here? Also, I had a pre-existing framework for understanding what was going on, and I dug into it. In fact, let's get into some of the detail. Let's give you some data points. So let's start with. Hopefully, my editor can show the AI summary of the art of the deal. So rather than sit here and read the art of the deal to you, I just got the AI to, I said the prompt was something like condense the art of the deal into 10 points or 10 bullet points or less. and it's given me what you can hopefully see on the screen, Mr. Editor. Number one, outrageous opening position. Start with a bold extreme demand to anchor negotiations in your favour to gain room to manoeuvre. Let's have a think about it, because again, some commentators in our sphere are saying that it's just cope. It's just cope to say it's art of the deal. Well, if it is cope, why does it look like this? Why does it look exactly like this? So step one, start with a bold extreme position, gives you room to manoeuvre. Step two, always retaliate. Hit back hard against any challenger to deter future attacks and maintain control. Again, dear audience, I ask you, is that what happened? Yes. Yes, that is precisely what happened, ergo China. I mean, who's always the goal in the first place? Point three, think big, set ambitious goals to drive bigger outcomes. I don't think we could accuse him of not thinking big on this. I mean, he's basically going for a reordering of global trade. So, yeah, we give him a tick on that one. Know the market, master the details and trends to outsmart the others. Yes. Again, I mean, he did that. I mean, the trend is quite simple here. The market details are quite simple. America imports more than it exports, and in any tariff round, as long as America always does the above point, well, the above point of always retaliate, then it's always going to hurt the net exporter more than the net importer. So yes. Leverage strength. Use your edge, confidence, resources, or timing to dominate the deal. I did see a question further down that I want to come to because I'm going to try and answer your questions in this in this Brokenomics as well. So, did he use leverage and timing? Absolutely, we're coming to that. Protect the downside. Limit risks while chasing rewards. Yes, so in terms of limiting downside, so the bond market was a factor, and we come and talk about that. It's being massively overblown by commentators going after headlines only. But yeah, we come back to that. 7, promote relentlessly. I mean, I won't even read that one because, it's Trump. He promotes relentlessly. And strategic withdrawal. Know when to back off and take a good deal if the maximum isn't achievable. So the maximum again. Some people are trying to judge this on the basis of his opening gambit was very high tariffs across the board. Was that achieved? No. Therefore he's cucked, and therefore he's U-turned, and therefore MAGA lost. Blah blah blah. I just reiterate, as we sit here today, the China tariffs are 125%, and he's got 10% across the board. Those did not exist until yesterday. They came into force yesterday. They were changed at the same time they came into force. He's got a good deal. So the net position of American imports, whatever, it's something like 350 billion. You've got to expect there to be some trade-off with perhaps few imports coming in as is the goal. Let's say it nets off to 300 billion, average 10% tariff rate. What exclude China from the calculation for now. So that's no, it's more than 300 billion. It's significantly the 10% will yield 300 billion. It's 3 trillion being the difference. Right. So yes, all of those things in the list is what he's achieved. That is literally the art of the deal, and he's done it. So if anyone wants to tell me that it's cope, why is it the same picture?
If you would like to see the full version of this premium video, please head over to lotuseaters.com and subscribe to gain full access to all of our premium content.